called Avoiding Repetitions in memoQ. It was made in January 2023. If we have a simple example text like this, we can see that some of the segments are repeated. How are you? Goodbye. And some of them are not repeated. Good morning, good afternoon. The actual translation work here are these segments that are not repeated. And I want to show you how you can calculate those in memoQ. So let's open up the document in memoQ. Actually, I'll just remove this one so we don't have any confusion. So, here is our text good morning document. And this is what it looks like in memoQ. Now, we want to select part of this. We want to avoid the repetitions. Let's see what memoQ offers. To select part of a document, we create a view. So let's do that. We'll create view 1. Now, let's have a look. There's something here called extract repetitions. Let's see what this does. Extract repetitions. So what extract repetitions does is very literally take the segments that are repeated. That's not what we want. Remember, we would like to have one example of each segment. Let's try again. Okay, we'll extract the repetitions, but only one occurrence of each. Let's see what we get when we do that. We do indeed get one occurrence of these segments. But, how are you, goodbye? This is giving us one occurrence of the segments that are repeated, which is not what we want. It's a bit confusing, this, isn't it? This is why I made the video. So let's try and make another video. Choose rows that are not a repetition. When we make a view in memoQ, one of the options is only rows that are, and we can choose here, not a repetition. So only rows that are not a repetition. Let's see what this gives us. Good morning, good afternoon. So what that option gives us is the rows that are not repeated. So what we've seen so far is we can get a view with just the segments that are not repeated, or we can get the repeated segments either once or more than once. But what we want, remember, is one example of the segments that are not. One example each of the segments, so any repetitions are not included, so we know how many segments and words we have to translate. This is how we actually do it. We make a view, but we actually come to advanced options. give it a name, let's say 4, and click on Advanced Options. Now, we have to use this minimum frequency. If we make minimum frequency 1, that means choose all the segments that occur at least once. That basically means everything. The secret here is not to keep the duplicates. Notice, unfortunately, memoQ does not use the word repetition, but uses the word duplicate or duplicates. What we're saying here is, select every segment that occurs at least once, which is everything, but don't keep any repetitions. So that's the bit we have to be careful of. Now, if we open this up, we'll see what we get is, good morning, how are you? Good morning, good afternoon. One example of every segment with no duplicates. Oops, my apologies. So what we got is what we wanted. So it's good morning, how are you? Goodbye, good afternoon. So here we have 12 words, and the view shows us we are actually translating 8 words. This is a small example, but it would work for obviously a much larger document. So be careful about using repetitions or no repetitions in memoQ if you just want to know how much you have to translate without any repetitions. Thank you very much for watching this.